And TSL Hyun once more as the Red Zerg. He is the top spawn of Metropolis. He is our reigning Fight Club champion, winning 6 weeks in a row. He's an incredible player, just on a huge win streak right now. And Roxkiss Titan is the blue Protoss down on the bottom spawn, trying to put an end to all of that. So far, he's not had a ton of success. He did actually do something that Grubby and Alive couldn't do. He took a game off of him. So at least he's got that. He can walk away with his head held high, even if he loses, because he did that. Amazing accomplishment.
Yeah, I would really, he's had bad luck with the 2-base. The game he won, he went to 3-base, out macroed Hyun. I really want to see him do that. His macro is, a lot of Protoss is getting in the mindset where you can't out macro Zerg's late game, but he did it. Like, I really want to see him try to out macro Hyun because I really feel like he can do it.
That you think that gives him the best odds?
I really do, because even though his control was really good in Game 3, and if you had that kind of control in Game 2, maybe he could have won that game. But, it really is pretty safe in the current metagame for Protoss to go up to 3-base on most maps. So I really don't see a reason why he wouldn't when, he can hit these 2-base timings, but he is just stuck with them for so long and hasn't been able to get much done after his initial burst.
Yeah, and I think the last game on Atlanta Spaceship, just the total commitment to Blink Stalkers obviously did not work out for him. Going down a single tech tree and not even... He didn't even do all he could have with that. He never got an armor upgrade, never went to +3 weapons, and Hyun just stuck to his normal game plan of roaches followed by infestors. Didn't even actually get the infestors out. It was over just with lings and roaches. So Blink Stalkers, may have worked in another universe, but didn't work out in this one.
Maybe in HOTS.
Yeah, maybe. Titan is going to go ahead and go Nexus before Forge once again here on this map. So last time he did this, he did go for that Blink Stalker.
And actually, it looks like Hyun is, going around that probe that was blocking his natural and just going to put it down at the 3rd first.
Yeah, and Metropolis is a bigger map, so actually he really doesn't want to do that if he doesn't have to. It's going to be a bit harder to defend that 3rd than it would be this natural. And a 4th base, either over here or over here, would be way out of the way. So Titan actually benefiting a lot there by having this natural placed here instead of... Or the 2nd base, excuse me, placed there instead of at the natural. Yeah,
so looks like standard stuff out of both players, pretty much mirror of the first 2 games. We'll see if Titan's going to try to go for a 3rd. We'll be able to see very quickly on what he's planning to do. He's gotten that early +1. I really like the early +1, by the way, especially against Hyun, who doesn't really get Ling upgrades very quickly. He doesn't get fast carapace most of the time. So that +1 has really paid off for him, but he needs a follow-up to that. Oh, wow, it looks like Hyun is actually going to sneak those 4 Zerglings into the base before the cannon finishes, and this actually could do a little bit of damage. 2 Lings isn't that bad, but 4 Lings can really cause problems.
That's true. 4 Lings can get us around on a probe pretty easily. It only takes a few claws from each to actually take out a probe. Probes do, they defend themselves pretty handily. They do 5 damage a shot with those particle beam things. And he may get a probe or 2, but he is going to lose all of these if he commits to it. There's just more. It's just strength in numbers here for the probes.
Oh, wow. We got 2.
Yep, 2 for 2. Not a bad trade at all. Now that the Zealot is out, though, these Lings are going to have to commit to something. Probably would prefer to go for a probe, but look at that. All of them still at max shield, so I think they're basically done. They're just going to distract for a little while. And really, Titan, I don't think he's in much danger here.
No.
If he just A moves these probes, if the Lings get too close, he'll be taken care of. But this 3rd base is actually just about to finish now for Hyun, so he's going to be where he wants to be, making queens and getting some extractors up potentially here, and working toward his normal build order, which seems to be Roachworm before Lair into Infestor play.
Yeah, and Titan going for what he has gone for so far, the fast +1. I expect to see 2 or 3 more gateways put down soon afterwards, but we'll see. The variation is if he gets Robo or not. And that, kind of telegraphs his build a little bit. And obviously, he wants to get rid of these Lings before he decides to show the tech path. So he is getting the Stalker. He's really, really put off, making additional buildings because he really doesn't want to show it to Hyun. But at this point, I think he's going to have to start. And there we go. Yeah, he's building the 2 more gateways now. So we're just going to see some pressure before the Robo. Once again, very similar to the Atlanta Spaceship game.
All right, so I would normally, say something about Stargate play. He has not even attempted it yet, but obviously the first 2 games were kind of wonky, didn't really have much of an opportunity. Atlanta Spaceship, he decided to go for this crazy Blink Stalker build with nothing else. Stargate play, another reason I kind of wouldn't recommend it against Hyun is because I'm remembering Grubby trying it and Crank trying it, and no one really having success with it against Hyun anyway. So while normally I am a fan of Phoenixes, just being able to take out Overlords, forcing Spore Callers to be made, forcing Hydralisk, and then you get that kind of chain reaction all the way into Colossus, Corruptor, Mothership. Titan could do that if he feels comfortable in that late game scenario, but really Hyun seems to be pretty prepared.
All right, so Hyun actually is switching it up a bit. He went no Roach Warden, and he's built 20 Lings. So he is actually going a little bit on the offensive. Oh, wow, that's actually great position. And with the +1 Zealots and no upgrades on the Lings, he actually might be able to save that pylon.
It's going to be difficult, but yeah, with more Warpins now, these Zealots are definitely going to get through. Oh wow, he just couldn't keep the surface area.
But still, he killed almost all of those Lings. Oh wow, and Hyun switching it up. Spire
tech for Hyun. This is the first time we've seen him. Actually, no, he did put one up in one of the other games, just never built any mutas because he didn't need to.
Yeah.
He was just so far ahead at this point. And workers, though, we have 55 against 40, 3 bases to 2. Units lost, 3 workers against 0. Nothing crazy. Just resources lost are very, very even still as well. But yeah, even though Hyun did lose a ton of those Lings, he's still just fine as far as resources lost.
And Titan not going for the third, going for the Twilight again, so he's going to be doing another Blink. Right now only +1. It'll probably be +2 once the Twilight finishes. But he might be missing this timing window a little bit because the mutas are going to be out fairly quickly.
Well, he's got 20 seconds before they can even start.
But he
doesn't have enough for like 10 mutas. He's going to have enough for 6 maybe.
Yeah.
So this could be all right. Titan, of course, is going to want a forward pylon, and it is getting taken out right now.
Very, very smart
by these Lings.
By Hyun to kill that.
Oh, good. Cancels for the Spine Crawlers are really good for Titan. He could actually just commit and try to kill the hatchery.
I would really hope he tries to kill the hatchery because he's not going to kill that army.
But he's going to be pinned in here. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's going to be, and he turns to try to fight the army, and I don't think he's going to be able to get through that.
Right. I think the army was basically forfeit once he got this far in.
Yeah, he needed to try to kill the hatchery at that point.
Focusing the hatch might have been better, but either way, that pylon getting taken out and those Zealots also getting taken out is going to set him really far behind.
And +1 on the way now as well, and Titan's only at 55 supply.
55 against 88, not the spot you want to be in. Obviously, these Zealots are going to try and carve down some Lings as fast as they can. It looks like they are going to get a good number of them, but obviously Zealots, if Hyun can keep Titan making more Zealots to deal with these Lings, obviously it's going to be less money he has to deal with these mutas, which are now actually starting to show
now
up.
He sees them, and yeah, immediately 6 Stalkers warped in his main because he knows the mutas are coming.
Oh, wow, and Hyun just sits right on top of him. Very ballsy.
This is actually going to be close. It depends on how he micros. He's not focusing the mutas, though, and that's an issue.
Yeah, the Stalkers are actually not focusing mutas. They are just coincidentally. But now Titan is trying to keep these Stalkers alive and warping more. Look at that. I can't believe those mutas took out that many Stalkers without even +1 being finished yet.
Yeah, and wow, okay, now he's going to have to back out, but that's pretty good trading for Hyun. And now 18 more Lings, 4 more mutas on the way. It's just going to kind of be spam. Oh, and the Lings get in.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, he decides to leave, though, obviously, because he doesn't have enough. But you know, now Titan realizes he's a little bit behind. And Hyun's like, all right, I did some damage. Time to make some more drones. Building 9 more drones, stopping muta production for the moment. A little bit of supply block also. But Titan down to 39 probes.
This is a more interesting build. Hyun did just drop a 4th base. He didn't use a macro hatch at all after getting this 3rd established, so that's what you normally see out of him. Obviously, normally he does the Roach Infestor play, so he maybe didn't need the macro hatch.
Wow, just started 6 Overlords.
He needed to, yeah. He was losing Overlords to the Stalkers, but anyway, a lot of probes actually getting taken out by this little hit squad of Mutalisks. That's going to leave the other side pretty open for these Lings. He's obviously aware that there's no 3rd base, so Hyun is just going to keep poking at the sides of this main and natural. Titan's going to have to try and be everywhere at once with these Blink Stalkers. That middle position is a nice place for them to be, obviously. But right now, a 5th base coming up from Hyun. He's feeling super confident right now in the position he's got against Titan. No 3rd base means that he can basically expand and take his entire half of the map and just keep him pinned inside his main.
Yeah, Titan's handling it fairly well, but this is the trap. You know, as a Pros player, you're like, all right, I'm holding off the mutas. Meanwhile, the Zerg player is going up several... Oh, canceled both the hatcheries on the 4th and the 5th.
Wow, why did he do that? He's going to build 5 more mutas, 8 more mutas?
Yeah.
10 more mutas, a million more mutas?
14 mutas, so he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to make all mutas.
I think when he saw the Stalkers out a little bit further, he knew that Titan was basically saying now's go time, and he wanted to just start making as many mutas as he could to try and defend. Obviously, if you can just decide between 2 more hatches that you're not going to be able to use versus 6 mutas to be able to defend your base, it makes a lot of sense. So this switch may have actually saved Hyun quite a lot of headache. He is going to lose his 3rd hatch, but he's already got these other bases in position. If he wants to remake those, he's not going to have the gas to make them.
I don't know if he has enough Stalkers. It's going to be pretty close, but it's +2 Stalkers against +1 mutas, and there's actually just more mutas. Losing so many Stalkers, there's nowhere to run now, nowhere to blink. Titan on 2 base, he's not going to be able to produce enough, and now Hyun is streets ahead.
That is really painful. Hyun could have actually just dropped that hatch again, decided not to. I'm not sure why. He could have obviously done it, still could drop another one with 400 minerals remaining, but this huge number of mutas, let's see how many mutas is it actually, 21 on the map.
Yikes.
So he's going to be able to use those obviously to pick away at Titan. Keep him kind of pinned in his base, and actually Titan not attempting to take a 3rd. I still haven't seen him even come over here.
He's only taken a 3rd base once in this whole series.
And it was the one that he won?
And it was the game he won. Yeah, wow. This point, it's like the snowball effect of Mutalisk. Titan's going to have to just try to get good position and engage in a fight with enough Stalkers, you know, do some damage to the mutas, or he just has to wait for 200 supply and then just go and wait and go across the map and try to kill Hyun at once. But, you know, with that many Mutalisks, it's so hard to engage across the entire map.
He's never going to hit 200 supplies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to have a 3rd base established. He's not going to be able to get the income to reach 200 at this rate. He's going to mine out of his natural.
And he hasn't even. He's not even making probes. And like, what is he at? 40 probes?
Yeah. So this is
36.
What? How did that even happen? Oh, the mutas obviously have been bombing in every now and then. But yeah, this. I mean, he's gonna. He's running out of options. You need to do something, Titan. Maybe add on some production. Definitely expanding, I would advise. But it's going to be hard, obviously. But
yeah,
you can't just.
But you can't just sit there because there's no way. You know, this is a situation where you're not going to catch up just doing this.
That's right.
So you have 2 options. You try to take a risk and get ahead, or you try to take a risk and just go win the game. But just continuing this is, you know, your economy's behind, and there's no way you're going to catch up. And Mutalisk is just going to, they're just going to keep doing economic damage. So we have over a page of Mutalisk, 30 of them to 20 Stalkers.
Right, so obviously we saw how the mutas did against a larger number of Stalkers earlier on, and now this engage is going to be Lynx first, mutas coming in afterwards. I'm going to actually highlight the Stalkers here, obviously, because they can blink, and there's a chance that he'll be able to keep them alive a little bit longer, but these bouncing Glaive Worms actually do a great job against the Blink Stalkers, doing damage all at once. It's like a mini splash, obviously, and makes the effect of the blink a little bit less, but still so many Mutalisks standing here, double digits against only a handful of these Stalkers. Actually, I'm surprised Titan ends up with as many Stalkers as he has. He is going to continually warp in during this, but I think Hyun is going to be confident with the number of mutas he has to be able to defend this. There are a handful of Zealots heading over to the 3rd base. I don't imagine that they'll get much damage done, though. The pylon is taken out. It did actually set Hyun back quite a lot, but look at this. Only 43 supply.
And
GG from Titan.
Yeah. He basically knew he had to try to get something done, and, you know, that